We already having issues? That's not what you want. Let me make sure Rumble gets up before we start today. Look good. Look pretty darn good. Oh, I need to post on X. Uh-oh. Let's see. As I was going to the courthouse today to see this Ryan Routh trial, there was an American flag. This dude had just hoisted it up on top of a bridge on the interstate. It's pretty Americana of him. Copy. Come on. What replied to my... that one. Live now. Close enough, good enough. Should I upgrade the premium? Maybe later, guys, maybe later. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing the dude flying the American flag. He was just about to take it down when I drove underneath him. So I'm gonna assume he was on his way to the trial too. Oh no, already? Are we back yet? Are we back yet? Technical difficulties, the start is unreal. Okay, I think we're back on YouTube. No, on Rumble. Are we back on YouTube? Okay. I think we're back. Yeah. Interesting day, fun day, I guess. Figured I would share with you my account. 3 legal pads worth of the Ryan Routh trial. Rather interesting stuff. I think we obviously answered the question of the assassination attempt today. But there are a lot of other unanswered questions. This is going to be a different format because I didn't get back too long ago. Yeah. Figured I would give you guys a synopsis. So, if you haven't heard the news, he received life followed by 48 months in prison. And he will have 3 years of supervised release after he serves that. He was convicted on 5 counts. What were they? Attempted assassination of a president, firearm with an obliterated serial number. Let's make sure we get all these. What were Ryan Routh's counts? I should know this. It's not like I haven't spent like 10 days there in total. Okay, 5 counts included attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate, possession of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, assaulting a federal officer, felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition, and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. He got the terrorism enhancements today due to the fact that he was trying to kill a presidential candidate. They cited some interesting prior cases due to the fact that there was no precedent for this. He was a candidate at the time. He was not currently the president. And that was the argument as to why he would not receive a terrorism enhancement. But yeah. Oh, I'm way too far back. Some of these were 2 assassinations on Gerald Ford previously. One of them linked to the Mansons, a person that glorified the Manson family. I'll see if I can find what that case was. I wrote it down in here. Lynette Squeaky in the Gerald R. Ford case. And there was a second Gerald R. Ford case, assassination attempt, both which did get the terrorism enhancement. But those were the only case laws that they had regarding this. You know what's weird? Lots of weird things. Prior to this, he'd had 36 criminal convictions, 5 of which were felonies. A weapons of mass destruction charge in 2002, and he served less than 2 weeks in jail in total. Still able to travel the world freely. And that's where this whole thing gets interesting. He was, at one point, before he decided to come back to the U.S., was recruiting Afghan soldiers for Ukraine. He was seeking to bring them in through Iran and Pakistan, which is rather interesting. That's not something a typical American does, especially given that he had links to the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, allegedly. Links to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, although they have denied this. It seems that he's had even so much as contact with Volodymyr Zelensky, according to himself. So it's interesting. I guess we'll start with, I don't know where to start. This is such a cluster of ideas. This is going to be probably a really half-baked episode, just given the time crunch I'm in before I go work this weekend. But let's talk about why, in my opinion, he would be subject to doing this. There's only really 2 paths that I can see of how we've reached this moment, how he's been allowed to do all these strange things in the world, all these strange connections he has. One, hypothesis, as this is MK Ultra. He is a MK Ultra, I guess not patsy, MK Ultra agent, if you want to call it that. And the other one is that he works for the U.S. government, or at least in some capacity as a contractor, probably multiple contractors down the line. It's strange that a dude that did construction in my hometown, A, goes to Ukraine to recruit Afghans, B, for some reason, writes in Arabic. I mean, come on. You don't learn that when you're hammering stuff. And he's had a long list of crimes, before. Weapons of mass destruction, like I said, 36 crimes, 5 felonies. And there were some things that he wasn't charged with. Manufacturing an explosive device. He wasn't charged with human trafficking across the U.S.-Mexico border, which is pretty well assumed by many people, not just myself. In the trial, he has texts asking people to be brought across the border for work, people that lived in Mexico that for some reason just randomly appeared in my hometown of Greensboro, North Carolina. He says that he could get them across. That was an actual thing. Actually claimed that he would get people across for the right amount of money through Eagle Pass. But then you get up to the events that took place at the attempted assassination. He doesn't act like a normal person. He spent weeks shadowing the president, driving over an hour every day to track the president, stalk him at the golf course, stalk him at an airport, stalk him at Mar-a-Lago. It's not something an average person would do, not something a normal person would do. Buys camouflage, buys an SKS rifle, obliterates the serial number, buys a scope, uses, as they call it, military tradecraft in the trial, burning windows, the act of looking through a bush, vegetation, whatever you want to call it, using a scoped weapon to see downrange, using a hide two metal or bulletproof plates he decided to hold his weapon through. He intended to get away with it. A camera pointed in the direction he was intending to shoot. He intended to get it on video. He talked with people across the world. China was referenced today. Ukraine was referenced. He had a contact in Ukraine to attempt to purchase both a RPG Stinger missile or a 50 caliber sniper rifle. So that's where your tax dollars are going. That's where your tax dollars are going. You're sending weapons over to the Ukraine, and they're auctioning them off to the highest bidder. In this case, what was a hopeful Ryan Routh in an attempt to purchase a 50 caliber rifle to shoot at the president. Wanted to shoot at his plane, ask Ukrainians to stalk the plane via satellite imagery, stalk the presidential candidate's plane. He also asked it of Kamala Harris, too. I'm not going to hold that truth out. I mean, they said it in the trial. You know, he attempted to purchase these rifles, these launchers that were sent to Ukraine with your taxpayer money. And they're just selling them. They're selling them back to the U.S., citizens of the U.S., to use as weapons on presidential candidates. Kind of disturbing stuff. But let's just go back to the Ukraine thing for a minute. He was attempting to recruit these Afghans. In a social media post, he had said, asking for Afghans that speak perfect English. He wanted them to send him CVs with passports and military certificates via one file on WhatsApp. But he also made this post in Arabic, like I said. He's claimed that he has 1,000 Afghan soldiers who want to work as Haitian National Police for cheap wages, noting that he has 1,000 ready with passports for flights. Just ready. He's got 1,000 Afghan soldiers ready. And they've got their passports ready as well. One of his posts says, it insinuates he has ties to the embassy in Ukraine. It says Afghan soldiers, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine is working hard to finance this project and has asked the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense for a detailed plan on how the money will be spent. Volodymyr and MOD, Ministry of Defense, are working very enthusiastically until we provide the information they need and a reasonable suggestion. Give us a few more weeks for some progress. Why is he speaking on behalf of the U.S. State Department? This sounds a lot like previous State Department, CIA, covert ops. You have John Brennan, there's a big new Brzezinski, Obama. They go over the Afghanistan, established the Taliban. I think this was in 70s or 80s. Look up those three names together. You'll find articles. This sounds also like Hillary Clinton's WikiLeaks emails claiming that, ISIS is on our side and that Epstein, literally just days ago, claiming that ISIS gets a free pass. We use these terrorists as pawns for the intelligence apparatus. It's whatever they want, they get using these terrorists. And they're now using them in Russia, and using them in Ukraine, to fight Russia. You can look up on this matter, ISIS escaping the caliphate for Ukraine. Literally ISIS soldiers leaving to go join, these operations to work in the military business, used as mercenaries. But he wanted to recruit Afghans, like I said, through Pakistan and Iran, which is the same tactic that John Brennan's State Department used in Saudi Arabia for 9/11. But today Routh said that Zelensky wouldn't take them because they were Arabs and he didn't want them in his country. I guess a base Zelensky moment, I'm not sure. He also asked at the end, to be traded for a different country for his sentence. He asked to be replaced by oppressed women in Iran, poor people in North Korea. He wanted to replace a Palestinian prisoner in Israel so he could take their torture. Absolutely absurd person. You can't think this person is under the right of mind. But you also can't, you have to consider that he's working by his own words with the U.S. government. He's using U.S. government contacts in Ukraine to purchase these 50 caliber rifles. He never purchased one. He just sought to do so. He said that they were too expensive and then went ahead and tried to do it with an SKS. So much crazy stuff. There's the Dear World note, another interesting feat. It says, Dear World, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whoever complete the job. This is only one page out of 12 that was allowed in the evidence. if I'm not mistaken, the other 12 were a little crazy as well. But the thing is as someone who claims that he went to Ukraine with absolutely $0 to his name, he has now mustered up $150,000. He's got it in a bank account. And now he's using it as a bounty on presidential candidate Trump's life. Now, I guess maybe you can make $150,000 through military contracting. A common thing I've seen is that it was through the sale of his son's trailer or home. It wasn't a big house. It looked like a trailer, I'm going to be honest. In Greensboro, North Carolina. And he said that's how he got this money. Could be. I think it was the one that, got in trouble for child imagery. But he's got this, murderous slush fund that he's promoting, saying that I'll pay you $150,000 if you complete my mission. And this is where I think, either, the state knows something about this, knew something about it, using him to carry out their mission. I think that they used him in Ukraine, whether it be, I don't think he was directly contracted. I think he was a subcontractor of a subcontractor. I think that's fair to assume. Probably multiple down the line. And there's this weird thing. He doesn't speak like a normal person would. He speaks in catchphrases. Obviously it wasn't made public, but he speaks only in these short catchphrases. And he strings them together with connecting bits. But he doesn't act like a normal human. I can look and try and find an example of some of these phrases he uses. But he always got cut off. And told that he can't say that. I think they should have let him run on. I think we would have got a lot more answers. Like I said, looking at the Dear World note, it was 12 pages. Only one was allowed. I remember the other ones were much worse. The dude has over 10 phones. A whole bunch of burner phones. He's stealing license plates. Identity fraud. These are concealment tactics. This is statecraft. It's literal statecraft that he's performing. But apparently he's never worked for the government. He's got an IED, explosive manual. He's doing human trafficking. Wasn't charged for any of these. But you could also claim that he's just a little deranged. He's running over people he employs with his car, with his work truck. But he also claims that he's a great employer, that he hired over 100 people. Expert in sniper and tradecraft comes in using burning windows. Like I said, he's got a gear list. He's using camouflage, spraying camouflage on his equipment. He's trying to blend in with the natural environment. He's also not staying anywhere nearby. Like I said, he's staying an hour and a couple minutes away. Driving in every day, driving out at night. He's got a mission. There was a mission here. So you're not going to be able to claim, that he wasn't intending to do it. If he had the opportunity, he would have. Luckily for everybody else in the world, that the Secret Service that day was doing a really good job. I mean, like I said, I wish I was able to look through this better before I started. I was picking up some more research, but I don't believe, that this guy's just a lone wolf. I truly don't. I mean, you would have to prove that to me. I believe, maybe I'm crazy as well, but I believe there was something that made him do this. He used to allegedly support Trump in 2016. Somehow this has all changed. Maybe it's the media. Maybe he'd been propagandized by the media. He's looking at the motorcade. He was looking at places to shoot President Trump at Palm Beach International Airport. Where have we seen this before? Oh, there was the sniper hide in a tree. Legitimate sniper hide in a tree. We still don't know who did that. It would have been really easy. Really, really easy to put that on him. Just say, hey, this was Ryan Routh's. We flew out an FBI jet for this. Loaded it up for DNA testing. Still haven't heard back. The DNA testing in this took 2 months. We're 2 months, past 2 months right now. Haven't heard anything on that. Like I said, it's real easy to put it on the dude that you've labeled crazy before. Why not just do it again? He's also not using, good logic with this. I guess he's using really good logic. Part of his trade craft. He's fine of doing this off of Sunny D and Vienna sausage. Sunny D and Vienna sausage was his diet during this weeks-long thing. He wasn't going out to restaurants. He was making sure that his money stayed above $150,000. If it ever dipped below, it was quickly replaced. It's just really, really, really strange stuff. He'd been stopped before. Like I said, he's been arrested 30-something times. 5 felonies. Less than 2 weeks in jail. If anybody else had 5 felonies, do you think me or you would have less than 2 weeks in jail? Honest question. Do you think that there's any way on earth you would have less than 2 weeks in jail? Because I doubt it. Anybody else with 5 felonies, let's go into prison for years. Years. Who's calling the shots here? Or maybe he's just had previously really good lawyers and decides to represent himself pro se this time. I don't buy it. This is from the end. This is the first part. But he does seem to be exhibiting traits from an MK Ultra-like thing. He's on this mission. I don't know if it's like a tear up Texas type situation. You just get told to tear up Texas and you just go out and be ISIS, baby. But I think, most people assume MK Ultra was over. It wasn't. They just changed the names of it. Changed the research a little bit. You can read like I said, a related case, somebody looked up to the Mansons, was closely associated to this cult. The person who tried to assassinate Gerald R. Ford. Look up Tom O'Neill's book, Chaos. It pretty well demonstrates what we see here. Obviously, it's been said that it's been done since the 70s, like over MK Ultra. I think it's just changed forms. We've seen literally in the last few years the Tear Up Texas guy that was released. But there's no way on earth that this guy isn't either A, just a state asset, or B, a product of some mind control, mind alteration to be put on this mission. You don't have, the average person doesn't have $150,000 in their account and only eat Vienna sausage and Sunny D. They don't live at a truck stop for weeks on end and drive over an hour every single day to stalk a presidential candidate. It's not normal. You don't go to Ukraine and recruit Taliban to join your fighting force, calling yourself part of the USA. That's not what a normal American does. You don't do this pro se and end up with $150,000 at the end of it after going over there with just 20. It doesn't happen. You don't start off training Taiwanese how to fight Chinese in case of an invasion. It's not normal things. Especially given, I don't think anybody's ever proven he has a military background. Now, maybe if he was a person who had a military background, was a mercenary, it would make sense. There's no proof of this. There's only proof that he's a recruiter. Now, why would you be recruiting for these causes? Well, you'd be recruiting for them if you were paid, I guess, very heftily. Making inroads with people in Ukraine, asking them for 50 calibers, asking them for RPGs, asking them for stingers, javelins, having conversations with these people. Here's one. He's sending Zoltan Volodymyr of Ukraine, who works in the Special Legion. This was confirmed in the court of law. He worked in the Special Legion, Zoltan Volodymyr of Ukraine, sending him images of Trump's plane at Palm Beach International Airport. He has these inroads, all these places around the world apparently. Inroads in Afghanistan, inroads in Ukraine, inroads in Taiwan. But he's just a construction contractor from my hometown. It's not realistic. Now, I think the major issue right now is proving this. You would need other files on him. You would need them to, we would need like a Twitter files type situation, but for his social medias. We would need his Facebook. We would need his X. I guess it was Twitter when he was doing this probably. He was posting on both of these the whole time, recruiting. Recruiting not only in English, recruiting in Arabic. Because, like I said, every contractor in my hometown, Greensboro, North Carolina, they just know Arabic. It's useful for them. It's not. When I was growing up, I didn't know a person that spoke Arabic. But now, this is just something you learn there while you're employing illegal immigrants from Mexico. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Tracking them down 8 to 12 hours a day. Contacting people across the world. looking up events, planning drives from North Carolina to Florida to Pennsylvania. This would have been, he was going to do the second assassination attempt of President Trump in Pennsylvania. I mean, he had looked it up. He had thought about it. He also has escape plans if all this works out. If all this works out, he's going to Mexico. He's going to Colombia. If he couldn't get a plane ticket, he says that he's going to drive there. Had directions in his phone, the drive time from West Palm Beach, Florida to El Paso, Texas at the border crossing. This isn't normal stuff. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I guess you do go with an escape plan. I guess that would be normal. A normal person doesn't try and assassinate presidential candidates. That is not normal. He's also searching how fast does it take to get a DNA result. Stuff like this. He's looking up rallies, buying parking time at the airport to just buy a ticket, walk in, watch Trump's plane leave. Claims that he wants to shoot holes in the plane at one point. Stealing license plates, replacing them. Scratching out serial numbers on SKSs. I mean, it's crazy stuff. Oh, yeah, Laredo, Texas, not El Paso. Laredo is where he was going to. That was going to be his border crossing of choice. Good to correct myself. Also looked up how to drive to Miami Airport so he could catch these flights. Looks up how to make a tourniquet, presumptively in case he gets shot. Looks to buy a cheap flight to Mexico City. Looks for a cheap flight, I believe to Medellin and Bogota. Took photos of these itineraries, since deleted. Flight from Miami to New York. Tells one of his former workers from the construction business if he'd be in Mexico City on Monday and that he'd call soon. He was planning on fleeing via his car to Mexico City. Here's the main one, the craziest part, like I said, with the connection to Ukraine. He's texting them, "What do you think of Trump?" They respond, "Not a fan." Text him, "Anything new?" Routh responds, "Yep, Trump has a shot." Ukrainian responds, "Trump is an idiot." Routh responds, "Is that your order?" He's taking orders from somebody. Then the Ukrainian responds, "Very funny, I have control of no one." Routh says, "Send me an RPG or Stinger and I'll see what I can do." The Ukrainian responds, "Stinger not so bad, Strela, ... He tells him that he's monitoring prices and to buy commercial. And then he says to the Ukrainians, Routh does, "Trump is your problem." He's got problems with Trump for canceling the JCPOA for Iran. And then after that, he searches up the range of a 7.62 SKS rifle. He determines that it's not going to shoot far enough. And then that's when he tries to get a .50 caliber .50 caliber that was probably sent as weapons aid to Ukraine. And now he's trying to buy it back, bring it to America, and shoot an American presidential candidate. He's doing just weird stuff. I mean, like I said, he talks in phrases. He's rewriting songs, making them assassination themed. There was also today, if I can find that part, that the reason that they were seeking the terrorism enhancement is because, one, he was ignoring societal norms, but also to ensure that nobody would be a copycat, to disincentivize copycats, disincentivize, I guess somebody went in the cash out on a $150,000 bounty. Probably a good idea. It also probably would have been a good idea to arrest him for more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks, total time served for 5 felonies, a weapons of mass destruction charge. I mean, how many normal people just get away with that kind of stuff? I mean, 2 weeks is getting away. 2 weeks is getting away in this case. Getting off scot-free. If you or I did that, years. And it seems that they finally decided to imprison him for life with the enhancement charges, and that he would get life to disincentivize others, disincentivize copycats. What else is there? I just thought of something. Oh. It's on. Anyways, I'm completely blanking on it. Wants to be sent to Gaza, wants to be sent to Iran, wants to be sent to Israel. Doesn't want to face accountability. We were talking about copycats. Oh, I guess I was going to say, I don't think he's the only person like this, I guess, given that he wasn't charged with the sniper's nest pointed, well, within eyesight of where Air Force One stays. Never gotten an answer on that. I don't know why. But I also believe, he's in life. He's there for life, so he's discredited. He can't leak this out to anybody. He'll be using jail phone calls for forever. So if he does decide, somebody made me do it, never gets out. We'd never know. I mean, I hope I've done a good enough job. I wish I could have waited one more day, but like I said, tomorrow I'll be gone. I'm doing some videography once again, trying to make some money. But I don't know. I don't believe his whole narrative. I think there's much more to this story than has been led on. I think he's either a subject of an MK Ultra experiment gone wrong, or I guess gone right. I mean, that's what the whole thing was. They were trying to create murderers. They did it with the Mansons. And I don't think, Especially given that these documents keep reappearing even after they were destroyed. It doesn't seem like it's been completely done away with. We have incidences recently of things that really sound like MK Ultra, the whole tear up Texas guy. I mean, obviously you'd have to have somebody come forth and say, yes, I said the words to Routh to send him on this escapade of living in an Xterra under a tree at a truck stop, eating Vienna sausages and Sunny D to prepare to assassinate a presidential candidate using military craft, military tradecraft. You'd have to have somebody obviously either A, step up and just leak it, whistleblow it, I guess would be the proper term. But you'd need somebody to do that. It makes no sense why he'd live like this. He apparently had a house in Hawaii at the time. Would you live in Hawaii or in your car in Florida? I mean, I guess it depends on the person. Some people don't like Hawaii, I guess. But like I was talking about these catchphrases. I almost forgot I did a whole article on this on Substack. But he has all these catchphrases. It's like save or protecting democracy, pushing America forward. Fascist dictator. Things like this. I mean, he uses all these catchphrases the entire time. And he just strings them together with random incidences of lock me up, I'm just a good guy, I have great character. It's like he forgot this ever happened. It's truly like he had forgotten that he ever attempted to murder anybody. I mean, I feel like this is something you would remember under sober circumstances. But he's always saying, oh, I didn't pull the trigger. Well, obviously you didn't. You didn't have the opportunity. But he's a man of simply catchphrases and apparently good characters, he calls it. As anybody else calls it, evil character. He's got these contacts around the world. Contacts from Ukraine to Taiwan and Afghanistan in between. Apparently Pakistan and Iran, where he was intending to send these people through. It's hard to get visas from random countries when you don't have a good reason to be there. The only other instance I can think of was 9/11. It's the only other instance I can muster up as to why this would be the case. Why he has $150,000 in a bounty. He can't use any of it. He can't, intend on shorting the other person because he needs to actually buy the equipment that he would need. He says, I can't afford the Stinger. I can't afford the 50 cal. You want $2,000, $3,000 for them. But it's just sitting in a bank account. He could have easily purchased them. So why does this bounty need to stick around? I mean, maybe he thought he could keep it, send it to his kids if it didn't work out. Maybe he thought he could send it from jail. I mean, I don't understand it. Maybe it is from the selling of his house. That doesn't explain why he goes there after selling all of his stuff with like $26 when he touches down in Ukraine. It's strange. It's really strange stuff. Trying to create bombs. How many people do you know that have an IED manual? Anybody? I don't know of anybody. At least not anybody that owned one and was attempting to make IEDs with 50 caliber bullets and mouse traps. I mean, these are just... How many people do you know have tried to make a gun that fires 50 caliber bullets out of a pipe? Do you understand how dumb that is? How bad that would hurt if it did work? If you didn't blow your hands off? This is just stuff that he did. I don't believe that he's just a lone person. I don't believe that because of this bounty, this ominous bounty that he's accrued. I don't believe it because of his connections to other countries, his claim that we, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, are working with the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and Volodymyr Zelensky. Why does he call it we? He's not part of it. He's just there. He's working with Taiwanese to resist China. He's got thousands of soldiers with passports ready in Afghanistan. How many normal people do you know with stuff like this, these connections? I can name 0 that I know. Well, 1 now, I guess. Ryan Routh, I don't know him, though. Whether or not he's been following me around my entire life or not, I don't know him. And how many people, like I said, have lived the way he did? There's not many. There's not many people in this world who lived the way Ryan Routh did. There's not many people of this world who had the connections he did. And there's not many people in this world who have attempted to take a presidential candidate's life other than him and, oh, what's that kid? Oh, what was that? That other guy who had CIA encrypted apps on his cell phone. Got shot in Butler. What was his name? Can anybody remember that? It's bad that we're forgetting these things. I'm going to look it up. We can't be forgetting this stuff. Crooks. What was it? Something Crooks. Thomas Crooks. I mean, this happens over and over again. And these people always have these suspicious things. What was Crooks' suspicious one? Somebody that frequented both Washington, D.C. and his house multiple times a week. Suspicious stuff. We don't have this from Ryan Routh, but we should. They should open up his Facebook posts, his X posts. He was banned for terrorism or promoting terrorism. I don't believe he ever promoted it on his social media. The only thing he did promote was joining Ukraine, fighting in Ukraine. That's what he was promoting on there. So I guess his account's guilty by association. It didn't do anything wrong. I think we should have all of these up. So, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, unban his accounts, archive them. Let us read through what he was talking about. What these posts were, why he was trying to get people to Ukraine from Afghanistan through third countries. Why he was working with the Taiwanese on defense. And if you're the guy who, said whatever it was to set him off. Be a whistleblower. I mean, you'll probably, I don't know. It's not going to work out well for you. I can promise you that. It wouldn't work out well for you, but you'd be an American hero for sure. I don't think protective custody would be enough for that, but you could try and be an American hero. I don't know where you would go for Freedom of Information Act stuff on this. If anybody could point me in the right direction in the comments, I'd like to know where some of this money was coming from, who he was contracted to in Ukraine. Because I doubt they were just letting him live there for free. He was probably paying rent, meaning he would have to have a salary or hourly pay to afford said rent to recruit these people. We need that information. We need who he contacted, either within the government or as a contractor. We need to know why he was claiming that we, as in the U.S. Embassy. I never claimed the U.S. Embassy as we. Nobody normal does. Nobody normal does this stuff. So either he was working for the U.S. through a contractor. Somebody gets a hold of him. MK Ultra. Maybe, the innocent explanation is that he's just over-propagandized by the media and decided to go to the most extreme lengths possible. But that also, makes no sense. We have all kinds of people that are over-propagandized. And we don't see this all the time. We see this in 2 instances. And in both of these instances, you have people with very, very weird connections. And they're made to be quiet. We'll never be able to talk to Ryan Routh on an untapped line again. You'll never be able to talk to Thomas Crooks again. You'll never be able to get their side of the story. I guess you could ask 2 of his kids, the other one discredited because of his connections to crimes, that we would ever trust somebody like that. He probably knows something as well. But he's in jail. You can't talk to him without a tapped line involved. And that's not to say that all the lines aren't tapped. They were going through his quote-unquote encrypted GroupMe messages. Using the Israeli software, of course. I wrote that down somewhere in here. I'd look through it all day to find it. Chad, guilty on 5 counts. Life in prison. 84 months on top of that. 3 years of supervised release. No answers as to what he was doing in Ukraine. No answers as to what he was doing in Taiwan. No answers as to why he has thousands of Afghans with passports ready to do war. No answers as to why he would live in a car for weeks on end, stalk the president, golf courses, airports, eating only Vienna sausages and Sunny D. The craziest part. There's no answers to any of this. I guess the answer is that he tried to assassinate a presidential candidate, and we'll never hear about it again. It's kind of like Thomas Crooks. Just absolute crazy stuff. fake and stolen license plate, 10 cell phones, 9 burner phones, 3 aliases, only pays in cash, lives an hour away, buys a rifle through a third party, scratches the serial numbers off, has all this gear, has a whole list of gear that he's going to need to get away with it, has a getaway plan. And this is all we're going to get. We've also had a random tree stand put up and seized outside of the airport within eyeshot of where Air Force One parks. They would be able to see the president walk out of the motorcade and onto the stairs, likely exposed 30 seconds plus. No answers on that. No answers on it whatsoever. It's not good. It's not good enough for me, at least. It shouldn't be good enough for you. There's way too many moving pieces in his life that one day he just snapped after being a Trump supporter for, I guess, at least one election cycle. He gets radicalized, wants the free Ukraine, it's the American thing to do. He actually said that today. He was saying that was the most American thing to do. I'm an American. I have nothing to do with Ukraine. I have nothing whatsoever to do with it. I mean, I feel bad, I guess, that they're being invaded. Just fight better. It's not my country's issue. If you're not a sovereign state if you can't defend your own territory. That's the truth. I mean, he uses all these claims that he was a good guy, he was just doing what was right for America. And he also tries to kill a presidential candidate. He's a man of catchphrases. And I'm not sure that one of these catchphrases, if not all of them, were taught to him by someone. And that one of them set him off on this crazy trail. But we do need answers. I guess at the end today, I thought it was kind of funny that Donald Trump has a 90-day time frame to ask for restitution for this. That would be hilarious, honestly. I think he should ask for $150,000. I think that would just be poetic justice for the end of this. I'd give up the fact that this dude was FBI, CIA, whatever you want to call it. 3-letter agency, State Department. Crud. I think that's what he was, Ryan Routh. But I'd give it all up if they just sue for the $150,000 in restitution. I'd be like, all right, it was funny. He's got 90 days to do that. That's how it wrapped up today. I guess I'll give you guys a short update on what else is going on in the world. Iran might happen this weekend. They've got they have a scheduled talk on Friday. Both parties are still really far apart on their goals. I don't see it going well. I don't think that they'll find any common ground. So don't be surprised if anything crazy happens. And I'm not able to cover it. I'll try and cover it. I also won't be getting back until like 2 a.m. Nobody's going to tune in then. Maybe some people. I'll also be way too tired to do it. So I won't be able to cover that. But don't be surprised if you see Operation Midnight Hammer 2. Operation Fiery Hammer. With possibly the weapons that we haven't used since 1945. We'll put it that way. There seems to be no middle ground, and it seems almost inescapable at this point that there are going to be strikes. Trump typically likes to keep things clean on the U.S. side in regards to fatalities. I think in this case, that may be, some rockets we haven't seen yet. I'll put it that way. I don't know that that's the case, but it is a possibility given what's been going on. So yeah, there's that. Like I said, 2 weeks of trials, not enough answers. You got life in prison, 84 months, 3 years of supervised release. I might look back through these come Monday, might not. We're going to be so far behind once again. If anybody ever wants to ask me questions about what it was like being there, go ahead and contact me on X. Shoot me an email. I think my email is somewhere on my account. Just shoot me questions. It's kind of crazy. When they first turned the cameras on, he's front cuffed this time. In trial, he was wearing a suit. Looked kind of like me. I'm not his lawyer, by the way. Never claimed to be a lawyer. At the end of that one, he tried to stab himself with a ballpoint pen. As soon as the cameras come live today, he's in that beige jumper, black undersleeves, front handcuffed and armed with a ballpoint pen. I was like, he's gonna do it again. But it didn't happen again today. Probably asked him to have a little bit better decorum in the courtroom. And I guess he obliged. Like I said this whole time, there's not enough answers. Honestly, I think this trial provides more questions than answers. We just know that he attempted to assassinate the president's life. We don't know exactly the why. The why is, like I've said, assumed to be that he didn't like him. Well, he liked him before. Something just changed, it seems, overnight. And he becomes radicalized enough to the point to do this. Strange connections around the world. And some strange things that, he could be, just possibly tied up in. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. At least for today. So I hope you guys will drop a like, comment, share if you think somebody else would like to hear this strange long rambling. Probably better to clip this one if you do want to share it. I'd appreciate that as well. If there's any good moments I had, it'll make it a lot easier, at least for me, to promote smaller clips of this one. But now, if anybody ever wants to ask me questions about it, go ahead. Now, later, ever. Really weird stuff. I'll probably continue to look into this. Probably will continue to be in the back of my mind for a long time. Especially given the whole tree stand thing at Palm Beach Airport that we still have no answers to from the FBI. Flew the FBI jet out the day of, flew it back that day. Submitted for DNA testing, world's longest DNA test. Nothing out of it. We deserve more answers. We pay taxes for answers. Haven't got enough. That's where we stand right now. Like I said, if you enjoyed, I hope you drop a like, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Rumble. I don't know if there will ever be another case like this. I guess there's only been a few. President Trump, President Ford. Beyond that, that's all we've got for today. Yeah, send all media inquiries to my XDMs or my email. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'd love to talk to people about this, because there's a lot more questions than we have answers. And maybe if people can provide solutions as to where we could find these links, where we could find I guess, yeah, these links, or if you want to be a whistleblower, you're watching from the government, you're like, yeah, I did that. Probably wasn't in great faith. Whistleblower time. But yeah, I'll sign off here. I'll see you guys on Monday. Doing some side job work this weekend, so I won't be here Thursday through Saturday. Won't have anything up on Saturday either, unfortunately. I was going to do this Saturday, actually, but I felt like if I waited till Monday, I was going to, lose way too much time, get way too behind. So Monday, we'll try and catch up with everything going on this weekend, or everything that does go on, everything already currently going on in a way. Then after that, we'll be back to hopefully your regularly scheduled programming. Ciao. Go ahead and sign off. I think I've said it 3 times now. So to all my people on the East Coast, I hope you get home safe. To my people further west, hope you get home safe as well. It's a beautiful day back there. It's almost a beautiful day for justice.